Hi, I'm Paul Germain, your host for Smart Boating. You know, every day you read in the newspaper about advances in smartphones and tablets and all sorts of consumer electronics. And interestingly enough, there's a parallel there between what's going on there and in the marine electronics field. And that's what we're going to dive into a little bit today. And joining us as a guide is John Schmoller of Voyager Marine Electronics in Essex, Mass. Welcome, John.
Paul, welcome to the store.
Thank you very much. John, we got a great show here today. But before we get into it, can you share with people a little bit about when you got involved in boating and electronics and when you got started here at Voyager Marine?
Boating most of my life. Voyager Marine was started in 1982. I started in the industry in 1976. In 82, we opened Voyager. From there, we've gone from a 800 square foot store to almost an 8,000 foot square store. And we now service from Portsmouth, New Hampshire to the Quincy area in sales, service, installation, and warranty work on all the major electronics.
Wow. So you've got a lot of experience in this field.
Been doing this for a couple of years, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's just what we need today, so we got a lot to cover.
Yep.
So why don't we get right into it?
Fine, let's get into it.
Okay. Well, John, you know, we've got a lot of ground to cover here in the area of marine electronics, and we can't cover it all, but we can cover some highlights that I think will be useful to people. And I'd like to start off on AIS, which is, I believe, Automatic Identification System. Can you share a little bit about what that is and how it works?
AIS came about after 9/11, and the federal government wanted to know more information about vessel movement in our waters.
Okay.
The boxes were designed at first for commercial vessels only, and they met certain requirements by tonnage or type of vessel. It has now crept down into our area of vessels, and there are basically two styles of the boxes.
Okay.
One is a receiver only, and the other one is called a transceiver. So it receives a signal from AIS transceiver, and it also transmits your information to that vessel.
And they look like this one we have up here on the wall.
Yeah, that's a perfect example of how the box looks like. And
Right.
It's added to the existing systems through some cabling. There's some antennas involved. And then once it's turned on, you will see target information on your screens in one type of a format. You will also see it on the chart. You can see it on the radar. You can see it on the chart and radar overlay. So it's very informative about what's going on around you if a vessel's transmitting an AIS signal.
Right. So let me see if I can summarize so far. I can be just receiving, or I can be receiving and transmitting.
Yes.
And I could be underway, and I'm delivering a certain amount of information there, or I could be at anchor, and again another set of information.
Exactly.
Okay, good. So it's like a broadcast system between vessels, and satellites, I guess, are involved in this system as well. Yeah.
Yes.
And what sort of information? I would guess like speed and course, bearings, that sort of thing?
Yes. What will happen is when you receive information from the vessel, for example, I'm going to click on a vessel now. On this particular screen, the vessel is highlighted in a yellow boat.
Yeah.
And if you can see it, it tells you the name of the vessel.
That's what,
All
what
right?
was that?
So it's the Lori B.
Okay.
And the vessel beside it is the Lady Jane.
Okay.
So if we look in our information list, it's telling us that the Lori B and the Lady Jane are basically stationary.
Pretty much in the same place too, right?
And they're in Gloucester Harbor, and it's giving us the information from our building here
Yeah.
to here.
Yeah.
And now if I click on the boat, it now gives us some other information. It's telling us the actual position of that vessel in longitude and latitude.
Yeah.
It's giving its magnetic bearing to us,
Okay.
its speed if it's moving,
Yeah.
and it's also giving us closure information if the vessel was moving. These are at anchorage, but it would give us its range and bearing and closure to us for target information and also for collision information.
Right.
So it's extremely informative, and the best part about the system is at night, when you can't see something, you're going through a shipping lane or a high traffic lane, if a large vessel's around, they're broadcasting the signal constantly. So safety-wise, you can't ask for more information than this is capable of giving you.
Yeah.
Most multi-function displays that are being sold today, it can be added on at any point in time.
Okay.
And the basic cost of the boxes, the Bs receive only start at around $600, and
Okay.
the B transceivers start at around $800 and go up according to manufacturer.
I see. So a very reasonable investment for being seen when you're out there cruising, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the beauty of it is it's watching all around you at all times, so you don't have to be looking at the screen constantly.
Yes.
And you can also set up some guards around you that if one of the boats gets at a guard zone on the screen, alarm would go off saying you better look at what's on the screen telling you collision.
Wow.
So it's an extremely handy device, and it's getting more and more reasonable every day for the boater.
John, as I was thinking about doing the show, I started doing a little research, and it seemed like when people look at chart plotters these days, one of the things they consider is the size of the display, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you've got some different sizes here?
Right. At the present point in time, the three most popular sizes are 7, 8 and 9s, and 12s.
That's what we got here?
We
This
have
is a
here
7?
the top shelf is 7s, the middle shelf is a 9 and an 8, and the bottom shelf are two 12s.
Okay.
They all come now in various formats. You can get knob or push button. Some are touch only, and then the third type is called hybrid,
Yeah.
which is the best of both worlds, which
Okay.
is touch and knob.
I see. How
We've
about
also-
brightness? Like one of the things I saw that I said, geez, it seemed like they're all using LEDs these days, which is giving them a brighter image, which is
Absolutely.
great out on an open boat on a sunny day, and less energy
Yeah,
consumption.
less reflection, less energy, brighter,
Yeah.
better viewing angles. Also totally seeable with sunglasses on. A lot of displays we had a long time ago, you couldn't wear polarized sunglasses,
Oh, is that right?
and the screen would get obscured. So now we've taken care of all that. Some of the machines, devices absolutely have a photoelectric cell built into them,
Oh.
which will adjust automatically for the background lighting at any time, and you can override it at any point in time.
Oh, that's interesting. Wow, okay. So different sizes, basically all going to LEDs. Now these have plastic displays, right?
Yeah, the covering is an impact plastic with a coating on it for anti-glare and reflection. You have to be very careful in that. You can't wash it with anything that's petroleum-based. You'll actually take the coating off.
Oh boy.
Other than that, they're pretty indestructible. They don't like paper towels or anything abrasive. You can scratch it. Once the scratch is on the screen, you cannot get rid of it.
That's it, yeah.
So some care has to be taken on how you treat them.
So this is good technology, but I wanted to show people if we move the camera over here, this is actually the latest technology here, right?
That's right, Paul. The next generation of where our screens are going are called glass. You're actually touching a piece of glass. They're actually more vibrant. The majority of them right now are almost all touch, and they all start basically 9 inches and above.
What's the advantage of glass over the historical plastic?
It's less chances of abuse because it's a glass, it's covered, you can't scratch it.
Okay.
Other than if you hit it with something that was like a diamond.
Right.
It's more vibrant. The ceiling's much better all the way around.
Okay.
Where this piece of plastic, for example, and this one is glued to this bezel.
Yeah.
This is one whole assembly.
I see. Yeah. So there's some significant advantages with glass, and this is where everything's going now. Right?
Eventually, right
Yeah.
now it's expensive technology.
Yeah.
It'll get better and better as production gets better and better. This technology here is still the most sought after, and it's been the best we've had in a number of years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the beauty of the multi-functions is we can add at any point in time any device that's capable of going on them for safety, radar. We now have the ability to do the AS, which you talked about earlier on them. And a number of them now have the depth sounder or the video sounder built into the box, so there's no external boxes which were attached a number of years ago. We're trying to eliminate that, so it's plug and play.
Yeah.
If you were to take the back of these and tip them down, you would see just ports that devices plug into. So it makes it a lot easier for us to install them, less maintenance, and a much better technology.
So there's been some real improvements in this area.
Oh, it's dramatic in the
Yeah.
last couple of years.
Yeah.
It is just unbelievable how the stuff is now coming together, and the ease, and also the ability to install and make a much better installation for the boater.
John, chart plotters, there's different ways they get the jobs done, whether they're using knobs or buttons or touch screens and so on. You've got 3 set up for us here. Can you demonstrate the differences?
Paul, the present point in time in our industry, we basically have 3 devices, and ease of operation is done by either buttons, total touch, or hybrid, which is the best of both worlds. This unit here is a touch device. To make it operate, you push the home key. You have a function on the side to how you want to use it. So we're going to do the chart.
Yeah.
We want to navigate. It finds us automatically on the screen. And if we want to go someplace, we take the cursor, we put the cursor on our destination.
Okay.
The destination will show us around, is that where we want to go?
Okay.
So it's navigate to. We want to go to it. The device automatically computes back to where you are present.
Yep.
All information to that destination. It's going to give you the heading,
Yep.
the position, and the amount of information going to if we're moving. Once we move 9 feet approximately,
Yeah.
the date of arrival will show on the top.
All right.
Next level is totally touch. Same situation. Now we're going to use our finger for the pointer, and we're not going to use the buttons. So I want to
okay.
go over here to this position.
All right.
I want to navigate to it, and I want to go to it. So effectively, it's done the same as the buttons, but
Yeah.
it's much quicker. And I
Oh,
also
okay.
can drag the screen around with my finger,
I see. Just like a tablet at home.
exactly like a tablet.
Yep.
All
Yep.
right. The next is the best of both worlds.
Okay.
It is knob and button and touch.
Why
Hence
is
the
that
word
the
hybrid?
Why is that the best of both worlds?
Well, you take an average boat, if the boat is fairly calm, you're not rocking and rolling, you're not pitch pulling around,
Yeah.
your finger is fine on the screen.
Okay.
As the boat starts to get more violent and you start moving around and the boat's going up and down,
Yes.
you'd have a tendency that your hand is jumping all over the
Okay,
screen.
I see what you're saying, right.
So with the hybrid, what we can do is put our finger on it, take the pointer, go to our destination,
Okay.
all right?
Yeah.
We push the button in.
Yeah.
We want to navigate to it, so it's a chart option. And we can keep pushing the button, and it will give us the same information as the knob by itself or the touch.
Okay.
What we found on the touch is people don't understand about the movement of the screen around, so we tell them to use your hand on the screen
All right.
and use your
Yes.
thumb. So now as you're moving up and down the boat, your hand is moving with it as well.
Yes, yes. Keeps it steady.
So, best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Price-wise, just for talking's sake, your button is always cheaper.
Oh, it
The
is?
button machines are usually $1,000 cheaper than the touch.
Oh, they are.
They have no other features other than the button,
Okay.
so you don't lose any features by going to a button unit. The touch just makes it faster.
Okay.
In today's marketplace, we're seeing about 75% are buying touch or hybrid, and about 25 to 30% are buying the buttons.
Okay. Okay.
And the other thing that's happened is because you're using iPhones and iPads, it's all finger, so it's driving the touch market much faster
Oh, right.
for sales.
Right. You know, it's funny that you say that because I've got, of course, my smartphone in my pocket like most people do. And I was reading in some of the material that you could control some of these multifunction displays with your iPhone or
Absolutely.
your smartphone. Or what sort of things can you do?
You literally can take every function that is on the screen and control it with your iPhone or your iPad.
Really?
All the manufacturers today, going on their website, you can download the app to your device, and you end up basically within a 40-foot circle of the vessel, you have a totally full-function second remote.
Wow.
So it enables the consumer now and the boater to have the unit up by the steering wheel. If he wants to go down the back of the boat and fish, if the unit has a fish finder built in, he can look at the fish finder. If he has 2 stations on the boat where he primarily drives, and down below he wants to go down and pre-plan his trip and whatnot,
Right.
again, the iPhone or the app. It's just a whole new generation of making the screens that more flexible for the boater and planning navigation and whatnot.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's absolutely just great technology. And this has only been in the last couple of years, and it's just exploded.
Yeah. Yeah. But John, you know, there's a lot of boaters out there that chart plotters are nice, but they may have one, or they may say, forget that, I'm going to use my compass, my charts.
Sure.
But I do want to see where the fish are. So historically, they'd get a separate fish finder, but I guess that's kind of passé a little bit now, huh?
Yeah, the industry as a whole, Paul, because we have the multifunction display, we enhance the multifunction display a number of ways. We can either add a black box, to get traditional, or we can add a black box to do some of the new pictures, which I'll show you in a minute. So because the screens are so good now,
Yeah.
we want to keep using the screen, and we can do side by side a number of pictures. So
Well,
for
show us
example,
some stuff on this one.
all right. I'm going to show you first the traditional, which
Okay.
most people are used to.
Yeah,
It's
I've seen
looking
this
down
one.
below the boat.
Yep.
The bottom is being shown as 72 feet,
Yeah.
and we've gone through, and there's a school of fish that we've gone over.
Yes, yes.
Traditional.
Yes.
Next level is down view.
Okay.
Now, down view is looking at it a little entirely different. It's giving us more information. For example, there's a bridge that's submerged.
Oh, I see that.
all right?
Yeah.
So we're getting more information on the down view because we're taking the picture and spanning it out a little bit more.
All right.
Next level is a side view.
Okay.
What we're doing here is looking side to side of the traditional down picture
Oh.
to give us more information.
Okay.
And then if we do, this is the pure sound view. So now this is the center of the boat.
Yes.
This is where our traditional sounder would be looking at.
Yes.
Now we're looking out at either side.
Okay.
And you can see down here the number of feet that we're looking out.
Oh, I
so
see.
here's the
Right.
bridge again,
Oh, yeah.
all right, on either side.
Yes.
And then the next picture, if we put them side by side, traditional and down view,
Okay.
there's what the bridge looked like on the bottom. You can just barely see it,
Yes,
but it's all
yes.
encompassed in the bottom.
Yes.
Here it is highly defined.
Yeah, yeah.
So we've taken it to, again, a whole new level of technology. We're giving the boater a lot more information about fishing, and like if you don't see fish here, there's no fish in the bottom. You're wasting your time.
How about chirp technology? I keep reading about chirp technology. What's going on with that?
Chirp is the newest technology that's come around the last 2 years, and what we're basically doing is we're taking a frequency and we're going about 20 kilohertz on either side, and we actually ping the frequency, each individual frequency, say for example 30 kilohertz, 31, 32,
Yep.
through
Yep.
the realm.
Yep.
And when we do that, we now have a much more defined picture because we're giving it a lot more information on the
Yes.
return echo.
More data points.
Exactly.
Yes, yeah,
Now
yeah.
the chirp technology right now is the most expensive. The average chirp technology and the boxes that fit here,
Yeah.
the chirp box itself, it starts anywhere from 700 to about 2,000. Requires very special transducers.
Oh, okay.
And the transducers start in around the $700 or $800 and go up to as high as $2,000. So it's cutting edge technology. It will get better and better, and the price obviously will come down and down. The standard technology in the boxes today are fine, but now the fisherman's asking for more and more information, hence the side view, the down view, and the chirp.
Right, right. Well, John, when it comes to reading the underwater surfaces, you've got the technology on the boat, but then you need a way to ping that target. And apparently there's different technologies and different mounting for transducers, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, what are the differences there?
The oldest way and the most common way was called the transamount transducer that hung off the back of the boat.
Yeah,
And it was on a bracket.
Yeah.
And it had a lot of drawbacks because you couldn't go up on plane. It was going to get damaged if you hit something.
oh yeah.
So that technology went away to another technology called the through hull. Through hull is a long stem. There is a fairing block incorporated, and
Right.
the fairing block is cut for the angle of the hull.
Oh yeah.
And now this
it's all
sits
straight down.
straight down,
Yeah.
and perpendicular and parallel with the boat.
Yes.
That technology went for a number of years, and then the latest and the best technology is what we call high-speed flush tilted element.
Oh.
What we've done on this is we now have a transducer that goes through the hull. It sits flush against the hull, so there's about 1/8 of an inch sticking out. The element is glued inside at an angle to the dead degrees or the offset.
Okay.
So the beauty of this is it sits in the water at all times. There's no cavitation. You can put the boat in a trailer, you can beach it, you can get the boat up and plane and get a picture. So this is the latest and the greatest technology that we're now using today in
Yeah.
most of the small boats.
Now, how important is it to have the right transducer mated to the electronics on the boat?
Extremely important. 3 things can happen. You can have the best fish finder in the world, put the wrong transducer on it, and the fish finder is not going to work properly. So the transducer's type and style, and more often than not, the placement is critical on the transducer to give you the optimum performance for the fish finder to work properly.
Oh.
And with this technology here, we eliminate a lot of the inconsistencies of the other two because it sits flush, and the element works much, much better in its housing. And we also have temperature built in as well.
Okay.
So
when you're picking your system, don't ignore the transducer.
No, absolutely not.
Right, right.
It's the key to the puzzle.
John, radar is one of those areas in recent years where the prices have dropped. You know, the technology's gotten better value. More people can afford radar now. To break it down, there's really two types, right? A closed array and a open array, right?
Right, Paul.
Yeah. And these are closed.
Closed arrays.
Yeah. Who would use these versus the open arrays, the ones that have the wings swinging around?
Typically, your normal pleasure boater is going to use a closed array. A couple of reasons. First of all, it's very light.
Yep.
So there's not a lot of weight in the boat. The average boater doesn't go out in foul weather all the time. He more wants safety at night,
Right.
or he's out there and a storm comes up and he wants to go home.
Right.
So, and the technology on the radars have changed dramatically. So what we call the enclosed ones are the most popular. The open arrays are pretty much done for commercial and larger boats.
Okay. What sort of range do you get out of the open versus the closed?
Typically on the closed ones, they start at 24 miles and go to 36, and the open start at 36 and go out as far as 72 miles. A lot has to do with height off the water, so you're not going to see 72 miles if you're close to the water.
Right.
So again, that's why you see closed arrays on the smaller boats, the open arrays on the much larger boats. We've also changed the technology. We've gone into the old style radar that had a multi-composite grade cable to a digital radar, and now to the HD radar, which is a computer grade cable. So we've changed all that, and we're now getting a much better picture, a much easier installation as well.
Well, John, if I understand it correctly, one of the big advances in radars has been the degree of granularity and their ability to show you with greater accuracy the different targets that are out there. Is that true?
That's true, Paul.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, let's take a look at the one we got here. Can you
Radar-
tell us a little bit about it?
Radar we're showing right now is conventional picture. We as the boater are sitting in the middle.
Okay.
This is land around us. This is probably your breakwater.
Yeah.
Harbor entrance coming out, another breakwater.
Yeah.
It is tied into our GPS, so it knows where we are in position. All right. We can also take this radar picture. We can overlap it on top of the chart. So
Yep.
we have the chart and the radar overlapping. And if we had the AIS running, the AIS would show that as well.
All right.
The radar also is automatic tuning, so it's tuning to give you the most optimum picture. And if we so desire, we can split the screen, and on half the screen we can show out further distance, and on the other half of the screen we can show close-ups. We get two radar pictures that are giving us accuracy all the way around. And if we so desire, we can also spin up the radar's revolution. Normal radars spin at 24 RPM. We can spin it up to 48, and twice the spin rate gives us twice the degree of update on the radar.
Wow. So some neat features in these new radar screens.
absolutely,
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's one cable going from the back of the unit to the antenna, and that cable can be any length. So we're no longer having to tune the radar to the cable anymore. It's all done automatically between the two machines.
John, you know, lighting on board a vessel is something that a lot of people sometimes don't think about. And it's related to the whole backbone, electrical background, electronics background. Quite frankly, when I used to go boating as a kid, I used a flashlight. That was our lighting. But it's come a long way since then, right?
A long way.
Yeah. We've got a panel of lights here. What's different about the lighting we're looking here than the old days?
Today's technology, Paul, has gone to the LED. The LED is the bulb that everybody is using today for a number of reasons. First of all, its intensity, which is called lumens. Second of all, its longevity. Most of the LED bulbs that we're using today have a 35,000 or better hours before replacement.
Okay.
And then the next beauty of the LED is it draws very little current, which is critical to a boater because current means more battery power.
Right.
So that we can reduce the current consumption, get better lighting. We can do a lot of benefits by it. The lights are also sold by the intensity as well, Paul. If you turn the first one on,
Okay.
you see a relative intensity.
Yes.
Now it's a 4 bulb. If you turn the next one on, which is this one here, Paul.
Okay.
All right, you notice it's brighter.
Yes, much brighter.
What we're doing is we're taking the same LED and we're putting it through a diffuser.
I see that.
All right,
Yeah.
to narrow it down and give it more light.
Okay.
And if you put the third light on, Paul, you can see how much more brighter that one is.
Oh, okay.
All right, we've actually narrowed it down even further to give it more of a spot beam.
Yes.
So these are deck lights.
Yeah.
The next technology that has taken off is underwater lighting.
Yeah.
Underwater lighting has exploded.
Has it? Yeah, I see these on the big mega yachts sometimes when they come into the harbor.
Now we've got them down to where we can get them on a very small boat. They're very easy to mount. They require a very small hole. They're held on with a couple screws. We can do it in single colors. We can also do them in multiple colors. Some of the lights have a switch where you can go from white to blue to green to red. And also the lighting is sold in lumens as well. The more lumens you have, the more light comes out the back of the boat. Again, great technology.
Why would someone have these lights, these underwater lights?
Accent for the boater at night, but more and more the fishermen are using them. They're finding that they're actually attracting the fish to the surface.
Yes.
So it has a double edge on that.
John, when it comes to marine electronics, there's not much more basic piece of equipment, but probably important piece of equipment is a VHF radio. Can you just give us a quick overview of what's going on there these days? This is a little guy here, right?
Little guy, basic VHF radio, all the marine channels, all your weather channels, and the distress channel, which can be hooked into your multifunction display. That if there's an emergency in the boat, the button can be pushed and it tells everybody around you your position and a mayday, mayday.
Yep.
Next level of radio does all that, but we've gone to a new, very small chassis. Because a lot of the spaces on the boats are becoming a premium.
Yeah.
So we've taken that chassis, made it a little bit smaller, large display, all the same features. Third radio, it does all that we've talked about, but a few more features. This has a foghorn built into it. It has a hailer built into it. But the latest feature is it has an AIS built into it. So now we have the ability to get AIS on our radio, and we can see a boat around us. It'll give us all the information that the MFDs will give us, and it will also transmit our information as well.
Well, John, you know, it's about time to wrap up the show today, and we've really covered a lot of ground here. We covered chart plotters, we covered AIS, we've covered VHFs, radar, which is a gamut of things in the marine electronics that are moving along and really getting, in many cases, less expensive and more powerful for the boaters, which I think is great. So, is there anything that you'd like to add before we wrap up the show today?
Yes, Paul. First of all, I want to thank you for having me on the show, and I want to tell you that the boating industry has changed dramatically, but the boater should still know safe boating. He should know how to read a compass, read a paper chart, or at least know where he's at when he's out there. He should get professional help from a qualified dealer if he has any installation problems. And he could go to any number of websites, either by the manufacturer or by the dealer he's working with, ask questions and get them answered. We want him to be safe, we want him to enjoy the product, and use the product for what it was designed for.
Right.
Again, safety is our most important feature. You're buying safety equipment, make sure it's working properly, install it properly, and enjoy it.
Right. So a lot of people throughout the country watch the show. But if someone had a question, do you have a website where they could reach you guys and ask the question?
Absolutely, Paul. They can go on our website at any point in time, and we typically answer the information that's required within 24 hours. If we don't have the answer, we will get the answer either by the manufacturer, or we'll find out what the question's about and how to answer it properly for them.
Yeah, and that's Voyager Marine, I guess?
Voyager at voyagermarine.com.
Okay.
And it'll be actually a new website up and running in the next probably week or 10 days. We're finishing up a new one for 2014.
Excellent, excellent. Well, John?
Thank you, Paul. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. And thank you, Smart Boating viewers, for joining us. If you have any questions or comments, come visit our site, www.smartboatingus.com. I hope you'll come back again soon.